Here we are down to the nitty gritty. Here we have the extra for experts for section 1.1. So basically what we're looking at, it's basically a review, but it's also a bit of tougher questions that we need to solve. So again, I would suggest you guys pause the video and try to solve these on your own first before I solve them. But if you don't want to, that's fine too. We can always go through it. There's also a fifth question over here. Pause the video and write that down, give it a shot. But here we're going to start with these ones here. So here we go. So what do we have here? We have list the set of all integers greater than -4 and less than half. All right, so let's use my blue marker this time. So what we're looking for is, first of all, let's just draw a graph here. So we have -4s here, and we'll put half here. So I'm going to draw 1 and I'm going to draw 0 here. So I might as well just draw a line. Be easier to see. Okay, so the question is looking for integers. List the set of all integers. So what is an integer? An integer is an entire number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, 2, 3, 4, 1,000, 1,000,000, -400. It's a whole number. There's no decimal places. So let's look at what we got. So if we're starting at list the set of all integers greater than. Okay, so we're not including -4 because it's got to be greater than -4. So we're going to look at the next integer, which will just be -3, -2, -1, 0, and that's it. So -3, -2, -1, and 0, because it has to be less than half, so 1 doesn't count, but 0 does count as an integer. Because we looked at our numbers here. This is from our first example, our first lecture, I guess we should call that. 0 does count as an integer. So the first answer is -3, -2, and -1. On to the next question. Oh, sorry, and 0. Don't forget and 0. On to the next question. 2. Is the square root of 4/9 a rational number or an irrational number? Well, I can't do that in my head, but we could always break it down, make it a little bit easier. But even so if I were to write the square root of 4, if we were to make this a bit easier, oh, we can't even break that down, or can we? Oh yes, we can. Okay. So here's a little bit of math guru there for you. So if we were to take the square root of 4, so basically now we're gonna, this is what we're gonna do here. So this is another way to write this out. So instead of having the square root over the whole problem, you can actually make it go to both sections, and we can actually figure this one out. So the square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And the square root of 9 is 3. So 3 times 3 equals 9. So is this a rational or an irrational number? Well, it's a rational number because we're able to write out a fraction. And we can also convert that to 0.666 ... And again, as we explained before, it is a rational number because there is an appropriate pattern, so we can figure it out. So yes, it is a rational answer. Question number 3. Is the sum of the following numbers a rational or an irrational number? Okay, so let's look at it. So these are two different problems here. So 0.1, 0.01, and 0.001. So right off the hop, we should know that this is a rational number because if we were to add these together, we would have 0.111. And because we know that there's no dots at the end, we can see the ending of it. So there's a beautiful ending. It's 0.001, so it is a rational number. So this one here is a rational. Now here's a bit of a trick. So the next one here, we have 0.3333, 0.666, and 9999. again, we have these little dots here, but again, we can see that it's a nice pattern. So there's two ways to look at this. One, we can say that there's a beautiful pattern to all of these, therefore, how do we do the therefore? Therefore, we do little 3 dots to explain that yes, this is rational, or we can actually turn them into fractions. So what is 0.33333? Well, 0.3 dot is equal to 1/3. 0.6 is equal to 2/3. And 0.9, if you round up, 0.9 is equal to 1, or 3/3. So what we can look at is that if we do 1/3 plus 2/3 plus 3/3, add 1, 2, and 3 together, this would equal to 6/3, or if we simplify, the answer is just 2. And 2 is a rational number. So hopefully I was able to explain that one properly for you guys. If you always need more help, just put comments in the comment section, and hopefully I can help you out with more of these examples. So number 4, we have, if the sum of 3.82 plus 12.ab is an integer, what is AB? So first and foremost, we're looking for an integer. So an integer is a whole, not a whole number, it's an entire number. Again, no decimal places. So we know that we need to find a number that doesn't have any decimals. So if we have 3.82 plus 12.8b, we're looking for the answer to be an entire number. Well, let's just break this down a little bit. So if we do, this will equal 15, and then this will equal basically 82 and AB. But because it's a positive, we want to know what, the best way to look at this is to basically, I know what the answer is by looking at it, but we got to break it down a little bit easier. If we were to say 1.00 minus 0.82, what is our answer here? Well, we can't do 0 minus 2, we need to borrow. So we're going to borrow 1 there, and we also have to borrow 1 here, and then that'll become a 9. So 10 minus 2 is 8, and 1 minus 8 is 1, and 0 minus 0 is 0. That's our answer. So that's 0.8, or 0.18. So we're going to put that 0.18 in there. So if we were to do that, let's just move over here. 3.82, 12.18 over, now we have 0. I'm going to add 1 there. So we have 1 plus 8 plus 1 is equal to 0. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6, and then 1. So here we have 16, and here I had 15. The reason being was I added these ones together for 15, and then we were going to add these ones together for that plus 1, which would then, 15 plus 1 is 16. So if the sum of 3.82 plus 12.ab is an integer, what is AB? The answer is, running out of colors here. The answer is 18 is the answer you're looking for. Or 1 is A and B is 8. It's probably the best way of looking at it. Alrighty, for our final and last question for this stage, for these this section. If the sum of -12 plus -8/2 plus n is a natural number, what is the smallest that can be placed in n? Okay, so let's just figure out what this is right off the hop. So we have -12 minus -8, -8, and half. Okay, so we have a plus negative, but in one of my math video tricks, it'll explain that if you have a positive and a negative, it becomes a negative. So we're just gonna say 12 minus 8 halves. So we could even just convert that to 0.5 right now. And then we have plus n, but we're gonna get to that after. So we're gonna figure out what this answer is right now. So this equals negative 20.5. So again, if this is, you just add the two numbers together, and because they're both negatives, this will be a negative number. So now we're looking for if the sum of that plus that is a natural number. Okay, natural, that's the number, that's the word that we're looking for. What is the smallest that can n be? Well, if we look at our page here from our first lesson, a natural number always starts at number 1. So we're looking for 1. So we're going to watch. We're going to do a bit of algebra here. We're going to do negative 20.5. Then we're going to do, we're going to do plus n, all colorful, equals 1. So we're going to do a bit of algebra, and we've got to figure this one out. So what we're going to do is we have to equalize on both sides of the equation. So I want to get rid of this 20.5 to figure out what n is. So we're going to put that in. So negative 20. So I want to equalize that. I want to make this 0. So I'm going to make the opposite. Plus n equals 1. Now, what I need is, I need to equate both sides. So because I've added this, I need to add it on this side as well. So now we're going to do the math behind this. So negative 20.5 plus negative 20.5, this is going to be 0 plus n equals 1 plus 20. Let's just do the math for now. 21.5. Okay, so again, if you're wondering where I got this 1 from, the 1 is from this page here. Our smallest natural number is number 1, so that's what we're looking for. That's what it says. What is the natural number? What is the smallest natural number? So 0 plus n equals 21.5. And that is your answer. So hopefully you guys solved that before I did. And if not, well, there's always more problems that we can go through. And that actually concludes section 1.1 for numbers. And we're going to move on to something next in the next section. Thank you. I'll be watching.